Every region in America has engineering stories, and we're exploring those stories through 5 categories: a hidden innovation, technology you use every day, a technology born from the region itself, an engineering moonshot, and the future game changer being built in that region right this second. So for America's 250th anniversary, the Circuit News brings you America Part 2, the Southeast. So, what exactly makes the Southeast an engineering powerhouse? Hey Circuiteers, it's America's 250th, and we're marking it by hunting down the 5 engineering breakthroughs that defined each region of the country. Today is part 2, and we're focusing on the Southeast. In 1982, while conducting an experiment at his home on a heat pump that used water instead of Freon, NASA and Air Force engineer Lonnie Johnson's experiment misfired, shooting a stream of water across his bathroom into the tub. Most engineers call that a failure. Johnson called it the power drencher. 7 years of refinement later, the accident had a new name and a new nozzle design. And in 1989, Johnson licensed his invention to the Laramie Corporation. Soon, it hit the shelves, renamed as the Super Soaker. Today, the Super Soaker has generated over $1 billion in retail sales, landing the toy in the National Toy Hall of Fame and Johnson in the National Inventors Hall of Fame. At General Electric in 1960s, a development engineer by the name of Winston L. Shelton was contacted by Colonel Harlan Sanders to check a cooking timer. Shelton looked past this request entirely and saw the real bottleneck standing between Sanders and a national chicken empire. His answer? The first pressurized fryer that could filter its own shortening continuously without ever stopping to cool down or empty out. It would come to be known as the Collectramatic. That single machine is what helped Sanders franchise his fried chicken nationwide in the form of KFC. And decades later, the Collectramatic pressure fryer is still the standard behind restaurant counters everywhere. In 1905, construction on Flagler's overseas railway began. At 74 years old, industrialist and tycoon Henry Flagler had enlisted chief engineer Joseph Carroll Meredith and his assistant William Julius Crome for the job. Then suddenly in 1909, with the project still years from being finished, Meredith died. William Julius Crome, the assistant who had mapped every mile of the route himself, took over as chief construction engineer. 40,000 workers rotated through 82 work camps, battling mosquitoes, freshwater shortages, and merciless heat. But in 1912, the railroad was finished, dubbed the 8th wonder of the world. The railroad survived for 23 years before the most intense hurricane ever to hit the U.S. shores tore through the Florida Keys in 1935, destroying the railway. The state had engineers convert what was left of the railway into the Overseas Highway in 1938. Today, the Overseas Highway serves as the only roadway connecting the Florida mainland to the Florida Keys. The ocean couldn't stop the Southeast, and neither could silence, because our next engineer built the sound inside almost every microphone on the planet. In the late 1950s at Bell Labs, engineers and scientists James West and Gerhard Sessler set out to solve a problem the industry had been stuck on: how to build a microphone that was compact, cheap, and still highly sensitive. Their answer? A thin polymer film, the Electret, metal coated on one side, which forms the membrane of a capacitor that converts sound waves into electrical signals. West and Sessler patented this technology in 1962, and the Electret microphone was born, ultimately landing them in the National Inventors Hall of Fame in 1999. The Wake Forest Institute for Regenerative Medicine's director, bioengineer Dr. Anthony Atala, is already living in that future. Atala and his team spent 14 years building their own 3D printing machines engineered specifically for human tissue. The payoff? More than 40 tissue and organ types in development, and 17 of them are already reaching real patients through FDA-monitored trials. Atala and his team's work on a 3D kidney construct platform that has the potential to accelerate the regeneration of artificial kidneys is the tech that won them the prestigious Kidney X Track 2 $1 million prize back in 2023. This is exactly the type of engineering that could address the critical shortage of donor organs. All right, Circuiteers, part 2 of our 6-part series celebrating America's 250th anniversary is coming to a close. So for the last time, what makes the Southeast an engineering powerhouse? It's the Super Soaker. It's the Collectramatic pressure fryer. It's Flagler's Overseas Railway, the Electret microphone, and 3D printed human tissue and organs. So thank you, Southeast, and happy 250 years of independence, America. And if you enjoyed this week's episode of The Circuit News, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click those bell notifications for more incredible engineering. See you next time. Hey! Ooh, pretty. And a special thank you to the Ming Hsieh Institute at USC Viterbi for making this episode possible.